Now then, people, and welcome back to the Just Your Football Show. It is Saturday, the 25th of June, and I have a big transfer update for you. I hope you're all doing fantastically well. Before we get into today's video, as always, like the video, subscribe to the channel, get your comments in, and hit that notification bell. Make sure you check out tomorrow's live stream, which should be scheduled by the time you're watching this, with myself and KG just talking straight, plain facts. Okay, make sure you join us for that. It'll be about 12:15. That one will go live, so make sure you get involved in the chat. But today's video is a transfer update. We've got several transfer updates for you. First of all, just want to touch on Calvin Phillips, last night's live stream. Big up to everyone who came and watched that. It's got a lot of views, support, etc. Yeah, thank you for that. Sky Sports reiterated today that Manchester City had agreed a deal with Leeds for England midfielder Calvin Phillips, and the fee agreed is between 45 to 50 million. That's what they're reporting. So that's a little bit closer to what we can all appreciate. It's come out from Fabrizio Romano on his podcast as well. Big shout out Luca ought to know better that put this out there in the ether. But basically, Fabrizio said that the club did what Calvin wanted and accepted a lower bid than other alternative offers. We know PSG were interested. There'll have been a whole host of Premier League clubs as well, I reckon. Maybe, the likes of Villa, the likes of West Ham, maybe even Spurs before the Basuma deal. But they went with Calvin's wishes. He wanted to go work under Pep. He wanted to win things at City. And like Luke said, it's the least we could do for him after he stayed in the Championship that extra season. He could have left at numerous points, right? And he didn't. And I go along with what Luke said, and I know 95% of the fan base think good luck to Calvin and I hope he win things. So good luck, Calvin, and thanks for your service. We're going to move on now to not a potential replacement, but someone we might see come into the football club. And that player is Charles De Ketelaere. He now has 3 options to choose from. We know that Leicester have been tracking him since January. Apparently, he prioritises Leicester over any other club, but no offers have come in yet from Leicester. And you could understand why. Leicester are not a bigger club than Leeds United, not by any stretch of the imagination. But when you look at it recently, they're in a much better position than we are. They didn't have a great season last season. They'll be looking to improve and probably will improve and will chase European spots. So I can understand why the player would prioritise Leicester over Leeds United for sure. No offers made at this point. Of course, we know we're tracking him and we're studying the possibility of offering the 40 million euros that Club Bruges want. We look to be the only club that are willing to meet their demands at this moment in time. We know as well, as we spoke about the other day, AC Milan are considering an offer of 30 million euros plus a number of bonuses, which, Club Bruges would probably prefer to go with the 40 million euros up front that Leeds United are willing to give. But the big sticking point in this is the player himself. CDK's entourage have apparently let Leeds know he's not interested in joining the club. Remember, everyone was surprised we were linked with him and thought, wow, if we get this player over the line, he's a hot prospect. He's been likened to Kevin De Bruyne, who plays in the Belgium setup. He's got a lot of goals for Club Bruges. He's a hot property. And apparently he doesn't want to make that move. And you can sort of understand why. Like Leeds United are getting rid of Raphinha, getting rid of Calvin, finished 17th. If he knows Leicester are knocking at the door, if he knows Scudetto champions AC Milan want him, then you can sort of understand it. It hurts, but I do understand it. Leeds, though, are still pushing, but the track is getting colder very quickly. We know that Orta went to Belgium. I believed it was for Romeo Lavia, or evidently not. It could have been for CDK. My good friend Connor at One Leeds actually mentioned this point, the fact that the entourage don't want the move. And the person that originally brought the news actually said it's not his entourage, it's CDK. And it's CDK who is not interested in this move, has let his representatives know, and then they have informed Leeds United about that. So it looks like Charles De Ketelaere is one that Leeds United will not be able to get over the line. They're still pushing for it, but it may mean that we might have to go for, a secondary option in Cody Gakpo. But that's not bad. That's not a bad signing. I will say that. I also want to touch on Tyler Roberts. This may break some of your hearts, but there was a false rumour going round yesterday, around the rumour mill. Some people put it in my comments as well and said, Joe, watch this space. I remember someone saying Tyler Roberts is having a medical at Cardiff. It then made its way onto social media. Apparently having a medical at Cardiff with a prospective move there. That's false. The guy is currently in Ibiza. probably getting off his box, yeah? But a loan is a possibility for Tyler, okay? And it looks like it might be on the table. Maybe it is Cardiff, but there was reports yesterday that he was having a medical there. You know, it was a mover, but apparently them rumours are false. And Tyler Roberts, as it stands, is on holiday and will look to remain with the club. And I know people hammer me for it, but I still think he could give us something in this new setup. But we are bringing a lot of players that are improving the squad. Therefore, his minutes may be limited. He'll want to go to the World Cup with Wales. I know he don't get much game time, but still just being at a World Cup with your national side's huge. So he may favour a loan. And I think that might be something that will happen. So watch this space. And finally, we are going to finish with our boy Raphinha. The last jewel in the crown. Calvin has now gone. The next one surely off will be Raphinha. Look, we've had a number of reports, not least from two well-respected, well-connected people in Fabrizio Romano and David Ornstein, who broke the Man City deal just yesterday. It looks like Arsenal and Tottenham are both working to bring in Raphinha. Barcelona, of course, are interested. That's probably Raphinha's favoured move, but there are no fresh bids as of now. No one has reached the agreement with Leeds United yet, with the asking price set at £65 million. And of course, as Fabrizio Romano tells us, Leeds are in a much stronger position now that we've moved Calvin on for the money that we have. There's not a need to sell, in a sense, in order to bring players in. And they'll go with that narrative, you know, to these clubs. Look, we don't need to sell now. We've lost Calvin. We don't want to sell. If you want him, you'll have to pay top dollar. Next week is going to be crucial. So I expect a lot to happen over the next week or so. Chelsea apparently have also called Leeds United, but Raheem Sterling is their top priority. If they can't get that deal done, maybe they will then look at Raphinha. I hope they get Sterling done because I don't want him to go to Chelsea. I think that might be, if he was to move anywhere in England, if he could have his choice, you know, outside of City and Liverpool, it probably would be Chelsea. And that would kill me. And apparently it's been reported by David Ornstein that the Gunners, Arsenal, are in pole position. We laughed, we scoffed, but it looks like he's actually, you know, coming round to the idea of moving to Arsenal. And of course, they're doing great business. They're really building something there. You know, Arteta, I like him. They've just signed Jesus. They've signed Vieira. They're looking at Raphinha. They're looking at Tielemans. Arsenal will have a jam-packed, top-quality, top-four-worthy squad next season. And maybe he sees going there as a catalyst to really push them onto that next level, which is what they need. Further conversations are believed to be scheduled with Raphinha's representatives as the North London club look to secure a deal. We've seen pictures of Deco in Barcelona, but, you know, we were all privy to the information that apparently last week as well, he spent time in North London with Edu, you know. They're friends as well, apparently, so we'll have to wait and see. But there is a general sense around this situation from a lot of the clubs that Arsenal are in pole position. They're the one leading the race for Raphinha's signature. They're ready as well to enhance their proposal. They're ready to you know, put in the money that's required, or at least get close to the figure that Leeds United want. You know, it was reported the other day, I think it was false, but apparently a bid was being ready, 60 with add-ons. You could see that happening for Leeds United. They're then looking at bringing in 100 million for Calvin and Raphinha, and we can then start to improve the squad. Because I think now our home bird, our boy Calvin has gone. It's a case of saying, like, Raphinha, we know you don't want to be here. He's not kicking up a fuss, props to him. But let's get him out of the club now, get the money in, and then start to rebuild and build up that optimism around the fan base that we started the window with. Of course, everyone's on a lull at the minute. Of course we are. We've just lost our best player. But get us back up there by signing in very decent replacements. There is a general optimism at the Emirates that they have manoeuvred into the strongest position, and it is thought Raphinha is open to the move. And of course he is, because otherwise why are they tracking it? These things happen. Loads of things go on behind closed doors, right? They'll have spoken to Deco. They may have even spoken directly with Raphinha. But it looks like it's a mover. It looks like he could be wearing the red of Arsenal. It looks like he could be moving to London, and that could be a big draw for him as well. Chelsea wants Sterling. Tottenham's first choice is Richarlison, and he would suit them more. He probably is better suited in terms of what they need, because he can play anywhere across the front three. So if Kane's out, he can play there, he can play right, he can play left. You know, with Raphinha, it's right wing, and then he's competing with Kulusevski, it's World Cup year, etc. So I can understand why Tottenham's preferred option is Richarlison. You know, He's not a better player than Raphinha, not by any stretch of the imagination, but he suits them all. He's what they need, should I say. It's what they need. Hopefully Chelsea gets Sterling so that he doesn't have to go there. And at that point, you know, whoever's going to pay the most money, and I believe it will be Arsenal. You know, Connor was talking this morning and we were talking off air, you know, about Man United and Arsenal and their willingness to pay crazy money for players. They seem to do it. You don't get that from City. You don't get that from Liverpool. They're shrewd operators, not these two clubs. They can be a bit wild. So I think if anyone's going to pay us the top dollar of the clubs that are interested in Raphinha, it is going to be Arsenal. So he's probably going to be pulling on that shirt. We know he wants to play European football. Of course, his preferred option will be Barca. Doesn't look like they've got the cash. They're trying to get Lewandowski over the line. With Arsenal, he could go in and really take them to that next level with the rest of the personnel that will come in and maybe get Champions League second time around and maybe become a bit of a hero down there. But at this point, I love Raphinha. I don't want him to go to a club that I dislike. I don't mind Arsenal, so I'm okay with that move. And, you know, as long as we get the most money, and it looks at this point that Arsenal are the closest to the figure that we want. So you're looking at 65 million, Calvin for 45 to 50, 110 million coming in. Leeds can then progress and get the rest of the squad ready for pre-season. We could be all done before pre-season. We'd all be happy, hunky-dory, everything's sick, you know? It's looking good. It's looking good. I know people are disappointed about the Calvin figure, but when you look at it in the cold light of day, which I've started to see people coming round to that on social media, it was an okay price. It was an okay price. Could have been better, of course, but it was okay. We now need to ensure that this one is the right price for Raphinha. We don't want to be accepting anything less than 60 plus add-ons, maybe rising up to 70, something like that. We shall see. But thank you, as always, for watching the Just Joe Football Show. Gutted about CDK. Hopefully he has a change of heart. Roberts is staying. Calvin's gone. I'm accepting of the fee. It is what it is. Raphinha, I reckon, by the end of next week, will no longer be a Leeds United player. That's my prediction for the next coming week. But, of course, I'll cover it all. And make sure you join us tomorrow for Plain Facts with myself and KG. I'll see you in a bit. Peace out. Leeds, Leeds, Leeds.